Browsing Reverb this morning, that one right there caught my attention. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. A collector's choice number 2 for under $5,000? Look at this thing, it's absolutely gorgeous. You don't often see a top like this on a Les Paul, super ultra heavily wood grained. You can tell there's a little bit of flame in between that, but what's most eye-catching here, within the grain, it almost looks like it's greening like a gold top. Well, at least in that particular lighting, our new photo shot isn't quite as extreme, but you can tell it's been aged. This looks completely legit. I'm not seeing any replaced parts here, and as far as aging jobs go, it looks pretty nice. Well, until you get to the back, it doesn't look the most realistic to me. But when it comes to relic jobs, you either like the particular one you're viewing or not. But what's most important is we still have the COA, all the original hang tags, as well as our pre-packed checklist down here, filled out correctly to the collector's choice number 2. If you're not familiar with that series, you can check it out in this episode where we go over every single one of them. But essentially, they took the very famous bursts and other guitars that collectors owned and recreated them. It was a huge marketing thing. It was really big around 2016-ish. So they weren't necessarily saying, this is what collectors should buy. It was, this is what collectors own, and they're cool because of the stories associated with them. For example, Goldie was limited to 300 pieces, and as you're seeing here on the screen, not all of them were exactly the same in the wood grain department, but you'd have things consistent throughout, like this particular wear pattern, and the aging on the back will be around the same. But generally speaking, the cheapest you'll get a collector's choice guitar within the Les Paul models, $8,500. Some of these go up to $20K plus. So under $5K, I just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Oh wait, no, this is a scam. Always, always look where it's located. Celadon City, Vietnam. Now, just because a guitar is in Vietnam does not mean it's fake. You need to look at the feedback level of the seller, of which we have 0. Now again, shops do have to start somewhere. Just because it's 0 feedback international does not mean they're a scammer. The next thing you want to do to suss out things is look at what else they're selling. An original 1960 Fender Stratocaster for $6,500. I don't follow the Strat market much, and even in a non-original finish, I know this guitar is worth way, way more than that. And I know that these photos have been stolen from a dealer, because this little bluish patio is a calling card, or one of his photo shoots of the guitar broker over in the USA. And yeah, I was able to find the exact listing where this thing came from. So what these guys do is they steal photos of guitars that have sold in the past, just to make you think that they know how to take photos and make the guitar look good. And they put these fake ads up hoping that somebody like me, who buys guitars all the time, is going to come over here and say, buy it now. And if you guys remember what we were talking a couple of weeks ago, since this is international, they might not even be located in Vietnam. They just want to force you to use PayPal, because Reverb can do nothing for you if you use PayPal. You have to go through PayPal's resolution process. And unfortunately, it's not always foolproof, because a lot of times PayPal will outsource that work and they can make bad decisions occasionally. So they're banking on doing enough of those and getting lucky at least once or twice, because sometimes they will actually send you a small parcel that's not exactly what you ordered, but if they have a valid tracking number, that's when things get hairy. So if you see something suspicious like this, it's kind of hard to find on desktop, but you gotta scroll all the way down here and report listing to Reverb. And you can just say something like fake listing. And sometimes it goes down right away. Other times they need more reports. Let's see if we get lucky this time. Darn. But to be fair, Reverb can't just take down listings. Otherwise, people would erroneously do that just to weed off competition if you're selling the same Les Paul as someone else. They have to wait till there's a certain amount. But the other reason I wanted to bring this up, outside of being a beautiful example, usually you find this late at night, not early in the morning, but they tend to target times that Reverb support is not open. And some guys have argued in the past that's just because in these countries that's their regular daytime, but I still think they purposefully target these exact times. But next up in our journey tonight, a Les Paul Deluxe Project for $750. People are always looking for quality project guitars. And it's always fun to see, what have people exactly done here. Because usually speaking, people just don't sell easy projects. They run into something that made it harder than they expected. You need an actual luthier to fix. But sometimes people just buy too many of these because that's the thing with these projects. You gotta strike and strike fast when you do see them because they do go so quickly. So going through this, it appears to have started life as a Les Paul Deluxe, meaning we would have had mini humbuckers. So somebody has swapped that into a P90 and then, oh, not only did they enlarge the route, but they put a Fender wide-range humbucker in there and had to chisel out additional from the side to fit the legs. Ouch. I'm not sure a new pickup ring is gonna fix that. Otherwise, up here, we've got a Stanley Cup 1997 sticker. Who knows what that could be hiding under there? Just keep that in mind. Next, it appears we either have a crack stemming from our toggle switch, or that could be a seam line showing. Going back to our full shot, looks like our seam is here. I don't know if that lines up or not. But then we've got another one over here. And if we zoom in, it looks like we might have some mild separation occurring. Not a lot to worry about. And as far as our pots, I'm not sure if these are bashed in areas or if it's just dirty. But there's something else to keep in mind on this fretboard photo. This looks like it might be an ebony fretboard. So this could have started life as a Pro Deluxe. But something's definitely going on with our inlays. Those must have been re-glued at some point. We've got a lot of residual stuff going on along the edge. I would say it might be time to refret it. Like, might it play okay? Sure. But if you're going to make a project out of this, probably time to redo that. Headstock. The logo looks okay. It's just kind of a weird lighting situation, and you can see some of the clear coat has chipped around your pearl. So that's why it's white here and a little bit yellowed in other locations. However, coming down here, that's not the original Les Paul model silk screen. That looks like a decal that somebody put on there. You should not see an outline around that like you do on Fenders. At least not that big. And we've got some finish issues going on along here. Next up over here, we've got some substantial finish loss around our heel. Some minor lacquer checking where the binding truly ends. But we have a lot of finish loss up here by the headstock and first fretting area. At first I was thinking maybe that's a stand rash, but normally that'd be like right here, so I'm not sure the story there. And oh, a not so friendly duck back there, and they used some gaffer's tape to secure your back plate. At least we got the top one. But hey, it's a miracle. We've got original style Gibson tuners. Those are Schallers. They're worth like $200. But the serial number looks really weird to me. Like it's oddly spaced, but I think some of it might just be the chipping around it. That's not common at all. But if we read that, it'd be 1977, 165th day of the year. Kalamazoo production 480. That number seems kind of high. You don't see that all the time. Even the colorations of the neck a little bit different than you normally see, but that could just be variations in the wood underneath, because you see that all the time for like the wings, so it could happen for the center. It's either that or the whole thing was refinished at one point. We can see a volute. But as far as the case, it looks like a cheapy aftermarket one. You could probably credit about $50 to the sale. Those knobs, they're not original. The bridge could be. I mean, it's nice to have this stuff, but it's not worth a lot. My big questions on this one would be, what pickup do we have in the neck? And is this vintage or is it modern? As that could help us make a decision. But notice, I didn't see any actual headstock cracks or anything, so I think that could be a fun project. If I refresh this and it's not gone, I would be shocked. If you bought it and you make a fun project out of it, feel free to send a photo. Next to 2019 SG Standard. Look at how pale this one is. A lot of times these come out really dark and cherry. I don't know if somebody faded this one or if it's the mahogany underneath. It has a very unique aged look to it, but without all the finish checking. I could see how somebody could be happy or displeased with this, but next. Maybe it's just the lighting, but I really like the wood grain underneath too, kind of that pixelized cut of mahogany, but appears to be in pretty clean shape if you happen to be in the market for one of these sideways trem SGs. Although, not sure about that price. Whoa, what? They discontinued them? Sure enough. Seems all they're doing is the Maestro Vibrola and the regular stop bars now. I guess I don't blame them. The sideways isn't very good. It's just I was remembering when brand new, those were $2,000, but I think they had crept all the way up to almost like $2,500. So I get it. I get the discontinuation. I just miss when they would publicly say, hey, we're done with this model, because then people go flock to the shops and buy more. I think they're missing out on sales opportunities there. There's still a few new ones on Reverb, but if you were thinking about that model and you have to have brand new, Might want to jump on that sooner than later. Next, I really wanted to check this out. It was labeled as a 2008 70s reissue. I didn't think they were doing that all the way back then. So sometimes that's people just getting fancy with their names. Other times it could be an interesting custom order. I mean, we've got the ABR1 bridge, and it's either been refretted or it was custom ordered with larger than stock fret wire. Seems kind of weird to refret an aged guitar. Unless was this actually played like that? The finish checking on that particular one looks relic to me. Oh, wow. I don't think I've seen that before. It's got a correct looking volute. I know sometimes they would use that, but to have a stinger and the serial numbers stamped like that, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ran into one of these from 2008 before. I'd fully believe that has the maple neck. And since we've got the stinger, I can believe that they probably even did the jumbo frets as kind of like a cheeky Randy Rhoads tribute. According to the seller, they made 150 of them. That's certainly not the only time they've done something like that. I was more familiar with the 2018 run. We did a review and documentation on this, as well as the full-on Randy Rhoads version if you're interested in checking that out. But this version did not have the stinger on the back of the headstock, which I'm quite jealous of. That is a very cool feature. So another model to keep your eyes out for. But next we have a viewer's guitar, Ben's Guitar Room, with a 1993 Les Paul Studio Light that he's calling custom color. The reason I know this is a viewer's guitar is he had actually pitched this to me last night. Maybe we'll make a deal, maybe not. So this is a Studio Light. They've got the chromite body and the uncovered pickups, but this was a special custom shop edition version, which at that point in time simply meant it was a catalog order guitar. They usually make X amount of them, anywhere from 50 to 300 plus. I see these things often enough. I would imagine this one might be in that 100 to 300-ish range. But the thing I hate about the 90s, and they use these celluloid pick guards, is they off-gas, they shrink, they destroy the finish. I mean, so far, this one actually looks to be in pretty decent shape, and I wouldn't mind reviewing the Studio Light. It's even got the original case. Well, let's just say, if you see this one on the show in the near future, don't be too surprised. I think I might email them about it. Because you gotta remember, you're in the 90s, so 15-ish for one of those is not too bad. And we'll end things out tonight with a rare Les Paul Supreme. It's one of the original Supremes with the carved back and the top. But the thing about the gold top is there's at least two different runs that I know of, the Guitar of the Week and this 90th edition birthday model, where instead of being a carved maple back, it's actually made out of mahogany. Which, generally speaking, when we're talking about a Supreme, I'd rather have the absolutely gorgeous see-through finishes that give you the nice quilty and flame action. We've documented so many of those that are so cool. But at the same time, you gotta remember, Supremes are just giant hollow bodies, essentially, just crafted solidly. But they have a completely different feel from other Les Pauls. So to have a gold top natural back could be enticing to the person who already has, one or two other Supremes that wants a little bit of a different flavor. So these were hand signed by Les Paul. I believe it was his 90th birthday. Being the original Supremes, you also have the golden fret wire. But they have this special 90th inlay at the 12th fret. You're either going to love or hate that. But those are the three main features that make these unique. And I definitely want to document one on the show eventually when I can find the right deal. But the right deal to me is like, 4,000 to 5,000. But generally, you see these things listed anywhere between 6 and 10 plus. I've even seen headstock repaired ones list at 85. But a viewer of the show was recently looking for one of these, but I think he already bought it. But this one's listed for 10. It's usually where dealers post them. But all right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed hunting Reverb with me tonight. And we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.